Very nice to see you all again. Particular welcome to Kamala Saki. Welcome back from Akashravana. And yeah, thank you to Kavyashree Dharmavasta and Pranya Shisha who took the classes when I was away. Very much appreciated. Yeah, so back and over the jet lag, over the altitude sickness, not over the mountains or the Gompas. So, yeah, good to see you. So this morning I wanted to talk just a little about self-trust. Obviously not a kind of trust or confidence that reinforces the sense of self, but a self-trust that's helpful to practice, yeah, helpful to sustaining and growing awareness, growing positive qualities in practice. So I was thinking about decisions and turning points that we make, the kind of, yeah, spiritual direction kind of decisions and how we make those decisions. For some people, they can be very difficult. Some people don't give them a lot of thought. They're quite intuitive. And for some people, there's a lot of thought that goes into, well, should I do this or should I do that? Or what would be the best thing here? Um, and I was thinking of a little quote of Bante's that I read quite a lot on retreats. It's from the Essential Sangharakshita. And he's kind of saying, well, yes, there are, of course, there are the Buddha's words, there are the teachings that we follow, the words of the wise, as they talk about in the Kalama Sutta. But he says there's no question of forcing yourself to follow a particular track or go in a particular direction. He says the path is it simply represents the individual solution to your own particular predicament. So I really like this. The path represents the individual solution to your own particular predicament. So we have to decide for ourselves, if you like, what's helpful, what's not helpful. Um, Sometimes this can play into doubt. Again, the doubt of, oh, what should I do? What's the best thing to do? Um, and that doubt for me has been something that's worked against self-trust or self-confidence. And I remember, I'm going to condense a slightly long story into a few lines, but I remember meeting Bhante once when I was struggling in the ordination process before I was ordained, obviously, and and I was thinking of I'd had this strong impulse to go to one of my favorite places, to Crete, for 6 months, basically. Wasn't very well, so it was partly that. But I was doubting it. I thought, well, maybe I'm just justifying sort of lying on a beach for 6 months. Um, and he said it's never just a question of what one is moving away from, because I thought maybe I was running away from difficulties in the ordination process. He said it's always a question also of what one is moving towards. And I found this really helpful, this sort of evident sort of trust from him about this, in a way, quite counterintuitive movement away from sort of formal practice and formal structures to something that, on the face of it, seemed to have very little to do with the spiritual life. And actually, he was saying there are always grounds to trust that positive impulse without you don't necessarily have to know why. But yeah, to trust it. And his trust really helped me. It really reinforced my own trust in that direction, which turned out to be very, very helpful. Not even in the long run, but in the short and medium term as well. So we've got these decisions, moving, changing job, leaving a relationship, whatever it is. One of mine recently was deciding to take this sabbatical from in-person teaching. Um, again, to go and lie by the sea for, last year in Spain, or to be by the sea. Um, but I think these external decisions can all be really aided by awareness, by sort of staying close to that sort of inner direction, that inner sense of what would be helpful here, where am I going with this? It's kind of like an inner pulse that we can notice. We can just notice inner when notice what's feeling significant, what's important at the moment, what needs attention. And becoming attuned. I think awareness, because it doesn't interfere with what's going on, we become attuned to what's actually happening, where the mind is turning, what does open the heart. Becoming really sensitive to that. And my experience is that increases confidence and trust in practice, and my ability to go with what feels helpful, even if it actually seems quite sort of counterintuitive. And it trusts, I think, a wider variety of ways of practicing, rather than feeling like we're limited to there's a word for it, isn't it? A kind of reductionism, I think, where we sort of take a look at maybe what other people are saying or what they're doing. It's inevitably going to be a smaller list than what the actual experience of people is. It's more like ideas about practice rather than the actual experience of what feels helpful. And that increase in self-confidence or self-trust, I think, can lead to a lot of sort of flexibility and openness of awareness and openness of mind in quite a grounded way. It's like you're just touching the earth. You're not sort of stamping on it or grabbing it. There's just this, oh, there you are. There you are. Feel. Uh, so one other quality I think is in this ballpark is the quality of samprajanya or sampajana, clearly knowing. Um, and another quote from Bhante, which I think is from Living with Awareness, where he defines clearly knowing, this aspect of mindfulness. He says we know what we're doing, so we're aware. We know what we're doing, and we know how that relates to our overall spiritual purpose and direction. So I think that's the kind of faith that grows, or the kind of self-trust. We feel a sort of confidence that what we're doing is in line with our spiritual goals and values, even if that happens to be lying on the beach or lying in our bed if we're not very well, and practice can't look as energetic as perhaps it does for other people. So I found it a way of making meaning, this staying close to myself, making meaning of what doesn't look perhaps very traditional, or looks like a sort of turn away from the spiritual life, but actually it makes meaning of, I don't know, uh, yeah, or the kind of things I mentioned. They might the what's coming to mind, of course, again, is the lying on a Greek beach or a Spanish beach, but it's really it's that inner experience of meaning that comes from um, staying close to ourselves, helping letting awareness choose, if you like, rather than the lots of thoughts about practice. We let awareness and this sense of clearly knowing be in the driving seat. Let them drive our choices, our decisions, and see what happens, see what the result is. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. and let's meditate. So if you'd like to set yourselves up